welcome back. This is video 3 in the series that I'm doing with Phil Bamford here of Online WHS. We've talked through the introduction, we've gone through some of the systems, and now we're going to be looking at the features, not all 45 plus features, but a handful of them, Phil.
Yep.
Tell us about the ones that we've got on screen at the moment. We'll start with the, we've already talked about the checklist builder. Let's talk about plant and equipment.
Yeah, so the plant and equipment is, well, obviously a lot of people have got plant and equipment. Their duty of care is to make sure that they keep it in a safe working order. So how to do so easily and effectively is the plant and equipment register. So you enter a plant item inside the system and automatically creates an individual QR code for that plant item. So you can actually stick that QR code on the plant item itself. So when they scan that QR code, it'll bring up all the information of that plant item, even the people qualified to use that machine. But you can also relate a checklist to that plant item, and they can hit one button, it'll take them to the checklist. I had one client years ago, they went, we love the QR codes, Phil, with the plant and equipment kind of section, but the problem is I've got to print out a QR code for the plant item, QR code for an incident, QR code for a hazard, QR code for a checklist. I don't want to have 6 QR codes on my big, beautiful signs. Why can't I just have one? And I went, great idea. So now that one QR code, you can log an incident, log a hazard, do any checklist relating to it, see any maintenance that's needed for it, and it just keeps it all on one record of one QR code.
Love it. Now, there's obviously a lot of incidents that happen around the place. Tell us about the incident report, the incident register.
Yeah, the incident register has stood the test of time, but that's getting big upgrade coming into the system in the next 6 months now.
Great.
So upgrades happen. You know, we've got 2 major upgrades going into the system every 6 months, and then minor tweaks all the time. So it's but the big one coming in for the next one is the incident section. A lot of people are wanting a claims section, these larger companies especially.
Yep.
So I'm actually building a whole claims section inside the system to take it to the next level. But we've had a couple of clients, we've got clients, Brown Brothers and wineries and manufacturers. So what they need to do is, for quality, if there's an incident relating to, let's just say a vat, something happens to that vat, they lose 1 million litres of wine.
Yep.
Well, that's a big expense for the company.
Absolutely.
So that's an incident, but it's in our incident section, you relate an incident to an employee, contractor, visitor, whatever it may be. This new event manager, you'll be able to relate incidents to plant items or an event.
Right.
So we had one of our other clients go, we've just had a couple of fire evacuation points inside the system, which is an event.
Yep.
So now they can actually build that inside there. The beauty about this one is they can actually tailor their own categories inside there. And it again, as normal, the system takes them through the journey. It'll be the helper to take them step by step through that process. But it's going to be a great feature for people to reach quality standards.
You've also got one about hazard management. How is that different to the incident reporter?
Yeah, so the hazard management, as I say, it's obviously one of the most important registers inside the system, whereas a lot of people, they go to the incident register because they have to log an incident.
Yep.
But if you use the hazard register correctly, basically, the hazard register is you identify a hazard, you assess it, you develop a control measure, you implement the control measure, and then you review it to make sure that it's working. So what you're trying to do is reduce the likelihood of an incident by using...
Gotcha.
So by doing that, you're reducing the likelihood.
Yep.
And reducing your incidents.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of people don't think it, whereas they should. That's one of the most important registers inside the system. So we've got that, and which is fantastic, but we've just added this new risk manager inside there. So a lot of companies, again, they've gone, yeah, we just don't want hazard management. We want, say for example, operational risks. We want reputational risks. We want strategic risks. So this is a corporate risk manager. So it actually takes them through. And the big one is in this feature, which no other system, and no one, every single time I show this feature, they've signed, this is the first time I've ever seen it.
Right.
Over the years, I've been sick of people going, I don't use that matrix. I use my matrix. Risk matrix, that is, right?
Yep.
And I've gone, I'm going to defeat this. So now inside the system, you can actually build and customize your own risk matrix. You can add columns, add rows. You can actually select edit and blank out everything and put all the text as your text. You can even change the color, and you can even change the rating and save it against the risk category that you've actually built that for, and build one for each individual risk category if you wanted to.
The customization in this system is just incredible. Now, you've got a thing called the Audit Builder. What does it do?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I went to a client's office, would have been around about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
She'd been a long-term client, lovely person, and I was there for training for a staff. And she had all these documents all over her desk. And I said, Lee, like, what are you doing? She goes, oh, Phil, I've got the auditor coming in on Friday to get ISO accredited to 9001. So I'm just printing out all the policies, and I'm printing out all my checklists, and I'm printing out all my documents, and I'm just putting them together. And I just went, that doesn't make sense. It's already in the system. Why don't we create a feature that you can actually build your audit inside there, and then what you do is you can actually hit a button, it'll pick up the policy register, and then you can actually select the policy you want to relate to that element item.
Yeah, so you're extrapolating all the information that you want from the various
registers, and you're just linking it.
Linking it, yeah.
And then, so when you're actually doing that to evidence, and then basically the findings is where the auditor comes in, you sit down with the auditor, and then they go, okay, show me how you're meeting this kind of element item, da-da-da-da. They take them there and say, here's all the things it's linked to, this is what we're doing. When they click on that link, it automatically takes them to the log of that item.
Wow.
And everything that's been done. So we had one customer, they received 100% in their audit, and they were NDIS kind of client. And they said it's the first time they've ever been accredited with 100%.
Wow.
And actually, they said, the auditor said, that's the first time he's actually given 100% to a client.
Wow.
And then we had another company that, which is a council in Queensland. They purchased the system, they put all their data in, used the audit builder to actually meet this compliance because the auditor was coming in, and the auditor was their insurance company. So they had to meet all their standards.
Of course, yeah.
To the point that not only did they pass, that insurance company rang me up and said, show me this system, please.
Yeah.
So, which was great.
Yeah, they might be able to. Are they able to recommend it to their own clients? Because it makes everyone's life easier, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Now, you've got an online e-learning module as well. I'm assuming this is going to be some instructional videos and ways for staff to learn. Is that what that is?
Yeah, well, you're supposed to induct your staff into safe work practices and so forth.
Yes.
And but with this e-learning module, you actually build your own inductions inside there.
Oh, right.
So the beauty about, I'll give an example.
Okay.
So I had a client, ASCO Engineering, great company, long-term client down in Mildura. They build all these great big vats for the wineries down there. They got one machine, probably nearly as big as this room.
Okay.
And it bends all the kind of the metal for the vats. Now, if you use that machine incorrectly, it would kill you.
Right.
So I said to Brad down there, I said, well, the best thing for you to do is videotape yourself doing a pre-start checklist and how to actually use this machine safely.
Yep.
So, and then basically at the end of the day, build that as an induction inside the system. You can actually, if you upload that video to YouTube, you can copy that video URL and insert it into the system.
Yep.
And a QR code. So it automatically creates a QR code for the induction as well. But so you can do a separate induction where you induct them where it keeps it in the induction feature.
Yep.
Or you can actually scan a QR code on that there, and the person can watch this induction, how to do a pre-start checklist on that machine, and then use it. So let's just say something does go wrong.
Yep.
And they come and investigate that. And they're going to say, Brad, how are you trying to keep a person, to use this machine safely? You've got a QR code on there, they scan it, telling them how to do it, and then they actually do the pre-start checklist themselves, and it's all recorded. I mean, you can't get much safer than that.
What a resource.
And then, because we're picking up larger and larger clientele, with the e-learning module comes with a table where you can actually see all your employees. You can see all the inductions they've completed, but again, it links to the position section. You can actually see if they need to do it as well.
Yep.
But we had one client go, yeah, that's really good, Phil, but we have to assign out to all our employees. It takes a bit of time. Can't we have like a mass kind of thing? We went, yeah, okay. So so we actually built this mass audit feature inside the system. So and you're looking at, Michael Fulcher did a great job with this one here. So basically at the end of the day, you can actually select all the employees to say, I want to do that induction, this induction, bang, mass out in a matter of seconds. It'll email them. They can actually do it from their email, click it will take them straight to the system, or everything gets actually inserted into a person's to-do list.
Wow.
So you can assign things for a person to do and it sits in their to-do list. So if you've assigned an induction, they just go to their to-do list, click it, takes them straight to the induction. They do the induction. As soon as they finish it, it takes it out of their to-do list, puts it into the induction register, highlights it as green that it's been completed, and you can even set a review date and automatically review as well.
Beautiful. Okay, now let's talk about the maintenance manager. What exactly does it do?
Well, in your plant and equipment, you've actually got scheduled maintenance. But there's other kind of maintenance, like say for example, in this building like this, it might be there's something wrong with the floor. It might be that there's a light broken. It might be something wrong with wherever it may be. Mm-hmm. So you can actually customise your own QR code for maintenance of a building or an area. So you go to a maintenance manager and you can actually go, okay, these are maintenances, lights broken, toilets blocked, so forth. But then you can actually build the location, first floor, second floor, room 1, room 2, whatever it is. Now that automatically creates a QR code. You can make that QR code public. You can put it around your facility, and when they go up and scan that QR code, it'll bring up that form. You've actually literally created a form.
Wow.
It creates a form for you with your list of items of maintenance and your list of locations. So the person just scans the QR code, enters their name, then they basically select their maintenance, toilets blocked, in room 22, whatever it may be, and it'll automatically email alert the person responsible for maintenance, but also put it into the maintenance register as red.
Okay.
So what you can do then is that maintenance manager would select on that. They can actually send that maintenance to a certain individual, or they can send it to a contracting company. But then when that's done, they can actually say that it's been verified and completed. They can even enter the cost of that maintenance inside there and go export, publish a register and see where all their costs are coming from.
Now, you mentioned sometimes this sort of stuff's got to be sent out to a contractor. You've got a contractor management system. What exactly does it do and how does it work?
Yeah, so the contractor management system, we've got around about 15,000 contracting companies in our systems.
Okay.
So, because your duty of care relating to contractor management is one, to make sure that that person has the appropriate qualifications to undertake that role. Mm-hmm. Two, they've got the proper safe work processes and systems in place. And most importantly, they're insured.
Yep.
So our system, you can actually enter the contracting company inside the system. It sends them out an email with a link. They click on that link, it'll take that contract to a portal. They can't go anywhere else, where they enter all their employees and they can do an induction.
Okay, yeah, of course.
So that you've built inside your system and linked it to there. But they can also upload enter all their employees qualifications with alert date and expiry dates, upload all their safe work methods, take them through what systems they've got in place, but also put in their workers' compensation, public liability and professional indemnity with an alert date and expiry date. So they can do all that and manages all that. So you can set email alerts to alert you that, hey, this person's about to expire in whatever it may be.
Wow.
But I had one client, so many years ago, she had 400 contracting companies inside her system.
That's incredible.
And she went, Phil, it's great, email alerts me, but why can't I make it email alert the contracting company that they're expiring? And then if they haven't done it, then an email alerts me.
Yeah, get them to do the work first.
Great idea.
They're the ones that are about to expire.
So you can tick a box and actually email alerts them.
That's great.
So, but now we're getting a lot of clients, they're wanting to manage contractors coming on and off their sites. So that at the moment, the contractor section manages the person's duty of care relating to that contractor. So, and you can use the checklist feature to do other things as well when coming on and off sites. But we're upgrading that section and sitting down in consultation with some of our big construction companies, and that we've actually designed this new feature that will actually manage a contractor coming on the site and off the site. So if you come onto the site and you tap a card and log in, it'll actually email alert me to say you just walked onto the site.
That's great.
But also email alert me to say you've just walked on site, but your insurances are expired. Right?
Yeah, that's
Whereas at the
great.
moment, if a contractor comes onto a site,
How do you know?
How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know?
That's it.
So it's so that's where we're going. So in this next 6-month upgrade, I mentioned the incident section, and then the report module and the contractor module are the three major things happening in this next 6 months.
What exactly does the meeting builder do?
Well, your duty of care in a big part of legislation is consultation,
Okay.
right? So you've actually got to show that you've actually been consulting your employees to meet duty of care relating to the Safety Act.
Gotcha.
So the meeting builder is a very unique feature where you can actually build your own meeting. So you can build your own agenda items.
Yep.
You can invite people to the meeting. It'll email alert them out. They can click on a link to say they're coming. It'll alert you that they're coming to the meeting. But and then you can take your laptop or whatever it is, or your iPad to the meeting. You can select edit, and then you can actually enter the minutes of that meeting straight into those agenda topics.
Wow.
Now, out of every meeting, you usually got actions.
Yes.
So you can actually, each agenda item, you can actually make actions, and that will email alert the person out. It'll put it into their to-do list. It'll put it into the action register. If they haven't done it by a given time, you can set email alerts to alert you that they haven't actually done that action. And then it's great. So as I educate all my clients is you make your first topic outstanding actions. So you go to the action register and you export it. You can see which actions have been done in the date range and which haven't been done.
That is
And then
great.
you go to the meeting, your first topic's outstanding actions, and then you go through the other topics. What you're doing is continual improving.
That's just incredible. You've got, you just mentioned, I guess, a little bit about it, the action register.
Yep.
How is that integrated and how does it work?
Yeah, it closes off all the kind of main used registers inside the system. So when you have an incident, then you've got to investigate it, you develop a corrective measure, and obviously you have actions to implement those corrective measures.
Sure.
So you have a hazard, as I mentioned before, you identify it, you assess it, you develop a control measure, but you have actions to implement those control measures. So that's another action. You have your risk manager, does the same thing.
Yep.
You've got actions to implement. When you select the checklist feature, you can actually make any one of those items in the checklist have an action. It'll go into the action register. In the meeting builder, it goes an action because there's actions. So the action register is a really big part of the system because it's the closing point to show that these are all the things I actually have completed in all these other areas.
And so once you've got those actions completed, is that what's the alert register? Is that when you get an alert that the actions have been completed, or how does the alert register work?
Yeah, so every single register inside the system has an alert feature.
Okay.
So one, you can get alerted for a review of something, or two, you get alerted that something hasn't been done.
Right.
Or three, you can get an alert to say something needs to be done, like maintenance,
Right now.
like right now. So it's so you're looking at the beauty about that as well with the site structure. You can actually set up those alerts for every individual site inside your system. So if I'm at a certain site, I don't want to get the emails that you're getting relating to your site over there.
Yeah.
So we can set you up. You can set yourself up to get email alerts over that way, and I can set myself to get email alerts for this site. And it's just making people accountable.
Now you've got and very important on most sites, most work sites these days, is a chemical register. What exactly goes into this chemical register? How detailed is it?
Yeah, it's a nice, good little register.
Yep.
So it's where you can actually do a risk assessment on that chemical inside the system, and enter all the details. You can build a procedure for relating to that chemical. Again, it creates a QR code for that individual chemical. One client go, yeah, but Phil, I've got 240 chemicals. I'm not printing out 240 QR codes. I went, Okay, make a QR code for the register. So that's where that idea come from.
Right.
So now you can actually print out the QR code for the site of those chemicals, and you can stick it on the front entry point for hazmat kind of processes, or you can actually put it on the storage so they can go up and scan the QR code to see what is actually in that shed.
Okay.
Or if something is a fire, then if the fire brigade come, they can scan a QR code to see what chemicals are on the
Or
site.
the whole register. Yeah, exactly. Now, activity plus SWMS. What are we looking at here?
SWMS is safe work method statements.
Right.
Get with the term.
Sorry, mate.
So it's, but you're looking at, yeah, we've actually just put this brand new feature into this. This last 6 months has been the checklist monitor,
Yep.
checklist, and this new safe work method, new smart form builder, we call it.
Okay.
So the smart form builder is previously inside the system, you can enter an activity, but you would have to upload the document and download, upload, download. And there's a bit of pain, especially for construction companies and people out on site and that kind of stuff doing that. So we've created this new form builder where you can actually build, like the checklist feature, build your own forms inside the system. So you'll be able to build a safe work method, you'll be able to build a permit, you'll be able to do all these things and customise it for you. And we have this construction company.
You've always got an example, haven't you?
I like yeah, I do.
And there's one company that did this.
No, this company, they looked around, they said they went to 16 different companies because they wanted to get a feature that they could actually build their own forms for their confined space forms and that kind of stuff. And they come to us, they loved our system as it was, and they go, oh, if you could actually do this, we've gone. So we sat down in consultation with them. We thought, if it's going to suit them, it's going to suit everybody. And what that actually gets released in the next couple of weeks.
Wow, you've got a lot of exciting things coming up. We've gone through an awful lot of features. Before we go and talk to the proprietor or one of the proprietors of Wagga Motors and get an actual testimonial about what it's like to use this system, what else should we know about online WHS?
Well, basically, at the end of the day, we're constantly improving, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So by listening to clientele, and that's the best way to do it. So now we've actually got a couple of more developers in the system now. It's allowing myself and my team, my right-hand man, Michael Fulcher, it's for us to create greater things.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm very excited about this monitor. It's really going to be a big
just being able to
feature.
see everything in one go. I think the biggest risk about this whole system is you not having it. So reach out to Online WHS, go to the website and book a demo with Phil. Let's hear from Scott Braid from Wagga Motors and see what he thinks about the system.